Have you ever felt that rush of panic take over, your heart racing, your breath shallow, your mind spiraling? And no matter what you try, nothing seems to help. You tell yourself to calm down. You try to breathe slower, but the fear has already taken root. And in that moment, you don't feel in control of anything, not your mind, not your body, not your life. But what if I told you that more than 2,000 years ago, a group of philosophers not only understood this feeling, but developed powerful tools to face it with clarity and strength? Tools that can still be used right now in your most anxious moments. Stoicism isn't some cold, emotionless system designed to suppress how you feel. It's the exact opposite. It's a philosophy built for chaos, for storms, for internal collapse. And it's in moments of panic that its wisdom becomes most alive. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers and a Roman emperor, once wrote, "Today I escaped from anxiety. Or no, I discarded it because it was within me in my perceptions, not outside." That single line reveals something profound. Panic isn't happening to us. It's happening within us. And that's exactly where our power lies. The first truth the Stoics offer us in times of panic is this: you are not your thoughts. Panic tricks you into believing that every racing thought is a prophecy, that if your mind screams, "Something's wrong," it must be true. But Stoicism teaches you to observe your thoughts, not become them. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When your heart pounds and your thoughts race, the Stoic doesn't say, "Stop it." He says, "Step back." Imagine you're standing on a stormy shore and waves of fear are crashing against you. A non-Stoic gets pulled into the water. A Stoic watches the waves, names them, but stays anchored. That's your first step to calming panic, awareness without identification. Ah, there's the thought that I'm not safe. There's the feeling of dread. You observe them like clouds passing through the sky. The second principle is radical acceptance of the present moment. Panic is fueled by resistance. You start thinking, "This shouldn't be happening. I need to get out of this feeling right now." That's like trying to put out a fire by panicking over the flames. The Stoics called this the second arrow, not the event, but our judgment about the event. You're not just panicking, you're panicking about panicking. Seneca, another great Stoic, wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." So when panic hits, try this Stoic shift. Instead of fighting the feeling, welcome it. Say to yourself, "This is what anxiety feels like." It's intense, but it's temporary. It's a sensation, not a sentence. You can even talk to the panic like it's a character in a play. "Ah, you've returned. Sit with me. Let's breathe together." The third Stoic insight is control versus acceptance. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is called the dichotomy of control. What's up to me and what isn't? Panic pulls your attention outward. What if I faint? What if I lose control? What if something terrible happens? The Stoic pulls that attention back inward. Can I control that outcome right now? No. Can I control how I relate to this moment? Yes. This shift isn't just calming, it's empowering. You stop trying to fight the storm and instead become the calm center within it. You say, "I may not control what's happening around me, but I choose how I show up in it." And from that mindset, peace begins to grow. Another key Stoic teaching is the idea of impermanence. One of Marcus Aurelius's most grounding practices was reminding himself of the transitory nature of all things. "All is ephemeral," he wrote. "Fame and memory are shadows. The universe is in change." When you're in panic, time distorts. It feels like the discomfort will never end, but it always does. No emotion lasts forever. No wave crashes without retreating, so try this Stoic mantra in your next anxious moment. This too is passing, not just as a cliché, but as a deep truth. Feel the impermanence of the tightness in your chest, the quickness of your breath, the rush of adrenaline. Watch it like a river flowing by. Panic cannot survive your calm observation. Another Stoic tool is called Premeditatio Malorum, or the premeditation of adversity. It may sound dark, but it's a practice of mental strength. The Stoics would mentally prepare for worst-case scenarios, not to dwell in fear, but to train resilience. What's the worst that could happen? They'd ask. And then they'd walk through it calmly in their minds. When panic begins, your mind leaps to the worst. You imagine loss, failure, and death. Instead of resisting those images, meet them head on. Ask, and then what? If I faint, then what? Someone help me. If I panic in public, then what? People forget in 5 minutes. If I feel discomfort, then what? I survive. The Stoics trained for this, to make peace with discomfort, and to stop letting fear grow in the shadows of avoidance. And here's the paradox. When you stop running from the worst, it stops chasing you. You gain your footing not by avoiding panic, but by befriending it. By sitting at the fire of fear and realizing it burns less when you stop feeding it your resistance. Now, let's talk about breath, not just as a biological function, but as a Stoic anchor. The breath is the only constant you can control during panic. It's the rope that ties you to the present moment. The Stoics didn't have modern neuroscience, but they understood the wisdom of stillness. Inhale slowly, exhale fully. With each breath, say silently, I return to myself. Use this pattern. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Do it 3 times, not to fix the panic, but to meet it with calm presence. You're not escaping the moment. You're entering it more deeply with courage. Another powerful Stoic idea is amor fati, love of fate. This is perhaps the boldest response to panic, not just to accept the moment, but to embrace it. This panic, you say, is not my enemy, it's my teacher. What is it trying to show you? Where is it pointing you inward? Maybe there's grief you haven't fully felt. Maybe you've been carrying tension for years. And this is the body's way of calling attention to it. When you love fate, even panic becomes sacred. Even fear becomes fertile ground for growth. You stop seeing the episode as a breakdown and begin seeing it as a breakthrough. Something is being stirred up to be seen, healed, and released. And from this space of inner alignment, you begin to act differently. Not out of fear, but out of wisdom. You drink the water, you take the walk, you make the call, not to escape anxiety, but to honor your resilience. You stop fighting and start flowing. The Stoics also remind us to zoom out. When you're panicking, your field of vision narrows. Everything feels urgent, dangerous, and final. But what does this moment look like from 30,000 feet? What does it mean in the story of your life? Seneca advised, we must look at life as a whole. So ask yourself, will this matter in a week, a month, a year? Suddenly, what felt catastrophic becomes a blip. You remember your strength. You remember that you've survived every panic before this one. And each one has passed, like a storm, like a wave, like a shadow fading in the morning light. Stoicism isn't about becoming numb. It's about becoming clear. It's not about never feeling fear. It's about knowing what to do when fear visits. And the more you practice this way of seeing, the more confident you become. Not because the panic disappears, but because you no longer fear it. You sit at the table with your fear and realize it has no teeth. It's just a messenger, a call to return to the present, to realign with what you can control, to breathe, to soften, to remember your inner strength. But the Stoics weren't detached robots. They still felt fear, anxiety, and pain. The difference is they didn't get owned by those feelings. Epictetus reminded us that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When panic grips you, your mind starts projecting every worst-case scenario. You feel trapped by a future that hasn't even happened yet. But the Stoics taught, stay with the present, right now, just this breath, just this step. Seneca once said, "He who suffers before it is necessary, suffers more than necessary." How often have you spiraled into panic because of a story your mind created? One that never came true? You feared rejection, but were accepted. You feared failure, but succeeded. You feared pain and found healing. Stoicism trains us to challenge these mental spirals and ground ourselves in the now. So here's a simple Stoic technique. Next time anxiety rises, ask yourself, is this thing within my control? If yes, act. If no, let go. That's it. It sounds too simple to work, but that clarity has saved people from breakdowns. Because anxiety feeds on chaos, and clarity cuts through chaos like a sword. Marcus Aurelius faced wars, betrayals, plagues, yet he still wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. That strength isn't loud. It doesn't scream or conquer. It's quiet, steady. It's the strength of the man who keeps breathing slowly while the world around him burns. That's what Stoicism trains into you, not immunity to emotion, but mastery over reaction. Most people think strength is about muscles or domination. The Stoics knew better. True strength is the ability to stay calm when everything tries to shatter you. It's the refusal to let outer storms create inner storms. That's not passivity. That's power. You'll start to notice something strange. The more you practice Stoic presence, the less the little things rattle you. You don't snap at people. You don't obsess over what you can't fix. You become anchored, and people feel it. They sense that you're not easily moved, that you don't need constant validation, that you operate from a deeper source. But here's the paradox. To get there, you have to stop trying so hard to get there. Stoic calm isn't achieved through force. It's accessed through surrender, not to chaos, but to truth. And the truth is, this moment is always manageable. You don't have to survive forever, just this breath. Then the next, when panic shows up, don't try to get rid of it. That makes it stronger. Just acknowledge it. Say internally, I see you. You are not me. You are a visitor, not a master. And then return to what is. Your feet are on the floor, the air in your lungs, the softness in your jaw. Anchor yourself in the sensations of now. Another Stoic exercise. Write down your fears. Literally, get them out of your head and onto paper. You'll notice that the moment you give them structure, they lose power. The fog clears. Seneca called this Premeditatio Malorum, the premeditation of evils. It doesn't make you negative, it makes you prepared. But never forget this. Preparation is not obsession. Don't use Stoicism to overthink. Use it to simplify. Anxiety thrives on overcomplication. The Stoics knew. Life is hard, yes, but it's not as hard as your mind can make it. When you stop exaggerating your pain, you start reclaiming your peace. One more Stoic idea. View life as a training ground. Every stressful moment is a test, not of your worth, but of your practice. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. Panic isn't just an obstacle, it's the training, the gym, the forge where your inner steel is shaped. So next time you feel your chest tighten, your thoughts race, your world spin, pause, don't fight it, observe it, and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Maybe it's reminding you to slow down, to stop trying to control everything, to return to what you can influence, your breath, your posture, your focus. And maybe, just maybe, it's showing you where you've been out of alignment, not broken, just out of alignment. And alignment can be restored. If you've watched this far, I want to ask you something personal. What's one moment in your life when you faced anxiety and got through it? Share it in the comments. Your story might give someone else the strength to take one more breath tonight. Don't underestimate that. And if this video gave you even a sliver of calm, do me a favor, like it. That small click helps others find this message when they need it most. And if you want more Stoic insights like this, subscribe to the channel. This is just the beginning, because here's the truth. Life won't stop throwing chaos at you. The storm is part of the human experience. But you can stop being thrown by it. You can stand in it with quiet eyes and steady breath and say, I am still here. And that stillness, that's your power.